One of the ideas we had to develop for the national round of Flux was we were given a plot of land in London near the Greenwich Peninsula, and they told us the land would be fully prepared to a quality which could be built upon, but we'd only have the land for 1 year, definitely, and then from there be looking at renewal. So to develop that idea, we focused sort of on the key attributes and the key components of the idea, and one of our main focus was on the temporary idea of the business. So it'd have to be something that could be put up and could be impressive, but at the same time didn't take long to prepare and could be removed and components sort of resold if necessary.
Or moved or relocated.
Exactly, yeah. So something that could be recycled and relocated. So we came up with the idea of the Peninsula Adventure Centre, which we thought was quite a novel idea for London, and particularly from a group of law students. I don't know what they thought we were going to come up with, but I thought it's probably quite exciting for a group of law students. But regardless, the idea was that it'd be put up quite easily and we could get it running quickly. And it was also had a sort of unique selling point that it was in the middle of the city, and it was a stone throw away from Canary Wharf with good transport links, and it could be used for corporate team building, and we could go down that line and focus on those sort of commercial elements.
The Adventure Centre was made up of 3 different things. First of all, we were going to have a giant assault course, stretching the length of the Greenwich Peninsula, which is just about outside the O2. Secondly, we're going to have a high ropes course, but rather than just built on trees like they normally are, have it like an urban one. So like these big metal poles connected together by giant wires, and watching people going on that in the middle of London is very novel and just doesn't happen. And the third part of the idea was we're going to have the largest climbing wall in the largest outside climbing wall in the UK.
I think there's a range of skills you need to be successful in this kind of competition. I think the first thing really is the ability to communicate on a number of levels. So, for example, in the meetings with the experts, you need to be able to convey yourself in a professional, polite way, but at the same time you need to assert some level of control so you could keep control of the meeting and get as much out of the expert as possible. And then things like the pitches, the first set of pitches, as explained, is in front of the judges that met you in the meetings, so they already know your idea. So when you're making the pitch, you don't labour on too much on that point, but when you go to the final pitch, there's people that haven't heard your idea, so you have to adjust your tone and adjust the content accordingly. So there is a lot of different levels of communication required for the competition. The last skill I think was really helpful to have on and just through the whole Flux experience is the ability to reflect. And I think the ability to reflect is often taken for granted, but it is something that has to be practiced, and it is crucial in every walk of life. I mean, if you don't know you have a weakness, how can you combat it? It's literally, if there's a blind spot, you can't do anything about it. So in the Flux competition, when you go to a business panel and they say this part of your idea is not any good, you need to realise the objective truth in that and think how you can change that and reassess your position. And I think having done law in particular modules where we're pushed to reflect, even though some students aren't keen on pushing to reflect in that way, but push to reflect, it really helps hone in on those skills of both self-awareness and of overall objectives and goals. One of the main things I got from the whole Flux experience was exposure to the local legal profession. I think there is a certain degree of exposure that every law student that engages in extracurricular activity gets throughout the course of their undergraduate study, but this is exposure at a sort of different level. Because I think a lot of exposure generally is you talking to a professional and just discussing things at law fairs, but Flux gave you the chance to show and exhibit practical abilities and skills, and at the same time it's a different experience in a way to get to know professionals from other industries and organisations that allow you to sort of get more of an insight and build a better relationship effectively.
I think, to echo what Josh said, Flux gave me the opportunity to showcase my skills which I've developed over my university life studying undergraduate law to the people, the experts who are there, who are mostly graduate recruiters. So I got to show that I do have commercial awareness, I do work well in a team, and that I can present well.